What's going on, guys? It's Snoop603, and today I'm bringing you episode 1 of my own Q&A series. Sorry this is up about a half a week later than I intended. I meant to have it up last Friday, but a lot of things came up and I just could not get it done in time. Plus there's other things that were more pressing in the back of my mind, actually in the forefront of my mind, that I wanted to get to and talk about first before I actually got to this video. So I know that I mentioned in the announcement video that everyone else does these. I mean, it's pretty obvious a lot of people do these, but we have done our own version in the past, but we can never stick to it, which is a shame because this is a series that I've always wanted to do and keep going on a regular basis. So now it's just me. Well, I can make these decisions, and I've decided that I'm going to do it again. And this time I'm actually going to stick to it, goddammit. And this will be a weekly series. Now, I did mention in the announcement video, you guys can ask questions either in the comments of that video, and you can leave a comment in this video for the next episode, or you can hit me on Twitter, either at Snoop603 or at Shustybang. So I pulled questions for a little bit of both. I'm going to cover the Twitter questions first, and then I'll go to the video questions. Question number 1, from Mr. Cohen DB. Do you prefer console or PC? And which community do you think is better, or are they all equal? That is an interesting question. I, without a doubt, at this point, prefer PC. And the reason behind that is I have absolutely nothing against console. I spent the greater part of my life playing on console. I started playing when I was about 5 years old. I'm 29 now, as sad as that is. And that's all I'd ever known. I'd only ever played on console. And a large part of that is I didn't know anyone that played on PC when I was growing up. So there was absolutely no reason for me to ever get involved with PC gaming. But now that I made the switch, I honestly can say I prefer it, but maybe it's just because the big aspect of it that I really like is that it's completely new to me. It's something I haven't done pretty much my entire life, and I've been doing it for a year now. And it still feels really new to me, and I'm still trying to get as good on a keyboard as I ever was with a controller. So it's that whole aspect of learning and continuing to better myself that's really drawing me in right now. As far as the community, they both have their positives and their negatives. Some of the elitist entitlement of the PC community really wears on me rather thin. But the way console gamers throw it in the face of PC gamers about how much cheaper it is to be on console and blah, 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 and more games are built towards it. There's good and bad on both sides. Again, I already said that, but I mean, that's how it is. Question number 2, from Coinair. How is Fake Thriller faring? As far as I can tell, pretty good. He is actually purposely staying away from pretty much all things social media and YouTube. And he's never really actually explained it, and I'm not going to go into it why. I haven't bothered to ask him. He has his own reasons, and they are his own. So I just never bothered to ask him about it. I just know that things are going good on his end, so there's that. Question number 3, from Sam or 5Potato014. Do you ever watch MLS, Major League Soccer? Not only no, but absolutely fucking no. And I don't mean that in a dickhead way to you, Sam, by any means. This is a guy I talk to on the regular on Twitter. I just fucking hate everything about the sport that is known as soccer or football in Europe. Cannot stand it, cannot tolerate it. I'll never watch it. You couldn't even pay me to watch that. But moving on. Question number 4 from Twitter still is from Bad News Marty. Stu, have you seen The Mature Gentleman? So here's a question. Simpsons and South Park or Family Guy and American Dad? Now, I actually find this very, very intriguing that he paired up The Simpsons with South Park, as I really don't see the two of them that similar, except in the way that they're able to bring in recent events. Pretty much anything that happens in recent news, they're able to bring it to the show, although Family Guy and American Dad can do the same. But I gotta say, I'm a bigger fan of Family Guy and American Dad than I am Simpsons and South Park. I love them all, like without a doubt, and I really love The Simpsons. But I stopped watching South Park a while ago. I know that their content's gotten a lot better lately, but I just don't go out of my way to watch anything. And Family Guy and American Dad are more readily available to watch reruns for me when I get home and I watch my son. So those are the shows I just happen to like more because it comes down to how easily accessible they are. All right, question number 5 from Ori Shot. Hey Stu, what's your favorite breakfast cereal? Dude, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, all the fucking way. If you're not eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch, you're probably a communist. Alright, moving on to the questions that were left on the original YouTube video, the one that I announced this whole series on. This one's from Super Pook. Can we milk you? Yes, sure, yes. Yeah, definitely, sure. Moving on. This is actually a good one. This is from Chris Spooner Gaming, who, if you guys don't remember, is another big YouTuber, and congrats again. He just hit 80,000 subscribers. That's actually a huge milestone. And we actually did a dual weapon review together. At any rate, he said, what's your stance on the whole gun control debate? This is actually something that I have a rather definitive answer for it, because I'm like indifferent to it, but I have a stance. I never talk about it. So here's my 2 cents on it, and you'll never hear me talking about it again. I see gun control as a right of the American citizens that we should be able to keep our guns because that's what's in the U.S. Constitution. We are guaranteed our right to bear arms, and it is essential that we retain the right to arm ourselves so that if ever the situation came to it, and I hope it never does, that those that govern us can never oppress us. And you look at some other countries that don't have access to guns on a daily basis, and look at the situation they've been put in at some point, or kind of currently are now. As I understand it, and I don't really get into the whole Ukraine thing because I don't understand it that much, but from what I've heard through the grapevine is Ukraine doesn't have access to their own guns. It's something that they're fighting for in their next constitution if they're able to kind of reestablish their government. And it would probably be a big different story if their citizens were allowed to have their own guns at any point. Kind of hard for the government to overthrow a country full of people that are gun-toting owners. But then again, I also don't see the need for people to own an assault rifle. Now, you got to remember that our U.S. Constitution was written over 200 years ago at this point, and it was a different way of life then. You needed a gun because you had to hunt or survive. You don't need to hunt or survive anymore. So I do agree that we need to retain our right to own guns, but it's one of those I don't see that anyone has any need to own an assault rifle by any means. But I will fight for their right to keep that, because with the government and anyone that makes any rules or laws, it's the whole give a mouse a cookie thing. If you just give them a cookie, then they're going to ask for more. If you give them an inch, they're going to take a yard. You can't give them anything. So in that case, I will fight unto the death if the need comes to it, that every U.S. citizen is allowed to fucking own a ridiculous, 3 machine gun combo with a 100-round magazine if it comes to that, because you can't give them an inch or they're going to take everything. All right, next up, this one's from Asura Storm 93. This is, hey Snoop, what can you say about the differences between PC and console gaming? You and Fake were big console gamers. What made you switch platforms, and do you enjoy playing PC more than consoles? Now, I kind of touched on this earlier, but this one's a little bit more specific, and the big difference I see between PC and console, and you're probably going to be surprised by this, is the price of games. I can go on Steam, and even when there's not a sale, I can find a shit ton of games ridiculously cheap. If I so choose to play them, I could, because I can buy them for next to nothing. You have no idea how many games you can get during a Steam sale for $60, versus getting the one brand new game on console for $60. That is the one thing I love. I've actually got a decent Steam library, nowhere near what about all my friends have, but still pretty respectable. And there's a ton of games in there I have yet to play. It's just I bought them when they were cheap because eventually I will have a chance to get around to them. So they can just sit there, I'm not going to lose them, and I'll be able to play them one day. Aside from that, then there's the obvious, everything does look fucking amazing. Not to knock console, because console still looks pretty good, but there's just no denying that PC is superior as far as graphics go. That's not the case for everything, performance-wise at least, because some games are specifically built for console and then they get a shitty port to PC and they play like garbage. But man, graphics, the higher FPS, the whole 9 yards, it's just, to me, it really makes the experience a lot better. Again, I have nothing against console. I spent more than, almost 24 or 25 years playing on console, and I never had a problem with it before, and I still don't. It's just I prefer PC now. Next up, Rebel Forged. Everybody wants to know, briefs, boxers, or commando, and why? Alright, listen, commando, while I'm sure would be comfortable probably when you're sleeping, any other time, I can't imagine that'd be good. I mean, just your junk rubbing up against your zipper on the inside, no, it's not gonna work. So the real answer is boxer briefs. If you're not wearing boxer briefs, actually, I'm sorry, I think they're just regular briefs. I don't even remember now. All I know is that they're the greatest things ever. I used to always wear boxers, but, the elastic around your thigh was, there's no flex to it, man. It was just, sewn in, it was rigid, and anytime you tried to do anything like sports buys, dude, that thing would just, constrict the shit out of your thigh, and it sucked. However, briefs, not only are they comfortable, and they hug everything and keep them in nice and tight, but they're also flexible, so it's kind of like a win-win in the end. Next up from Nemorasis, or Nemorasis? It could be any one of those. What happened to the series when you and Fake played really old games? It was fucking great when you guys played Super Mario Bros. 3. That was called Retrobang, and that, without a doubt, is one of the biggest disappointments for new series that we've ever had, in the sense of I was severely, and still am severely disappointed we could not keep that series going. And there's absolutely no hope for me reviving it because of the way it worked. How to make that work? We were both in one spot. We were actually here in my man cave because I had a bigger TV, we had more flexibility, I was completely shut off from the rest of my house. Sound quality was better, the acoustics of the room, just the whole 9 yards. And it just made life so much easier to record everything because we were sitting side by side. So we had one mic, the one I'm actually using right now, sitting between us to capture everything. We had one cap card for the one game we were playing on, and anytime we wanted to switch off, you literally just hand the controller to the other player beside you. I was actually talking to a opponent about this. I wanted to try and resurrect this, but I cannot figure out how to try and replicate something like that, but playing with 2 people in 2 entirely different physical locations. So again, like something like Super Mario, a single player game where we'd have to switch off from person to person, playing on the same game, same save file, the whole 9 yards, and playing in real time, because that's most important, because the reactions to what's going on can't be genuine if there's like a 3-second delay from the person playing and it actually happened to the person watching. So if you guys can figure out a way to make that work, I will definitely resurrect that series, because I freaking loved it. Next up, Dirge 2010. My question is beer. What is your favorite if you do have one? And if you don't, what's been striking your fancy lately? I've been drinking a lot of craft stuff myself. I have been going out of my way to find as much different good craft beer as possible. I have been drinking way too much beer lately over the past couple weeks, but I am really, really big on craft beer. And one of the things I've been drinking a lot of lately is a Belgian beer. I'm actually looking at it right now. Sorry if the audio sounds a little weird. I'm turning my head to the side so I can read it. It is Chimay Ale Grand Reserve 2012. It is, without a doubt, one of the best and certainly now my favorite beers I've ever had. Another recent one I've tried is Innis and Gun. It's 2 words, Innis and Gun. I-N-N-I-S, and then Gun is G-U-N-N. It is a Scottish beer, and there's 2 different ones. One's soaked in regular oak barrels, and the other one's soaked in rum oak barrels. I like the regular one a little bit better. It's got more of a vanilla caramelly taste to it. It's not overly hoppy. The other one's a little bit stronger, a little bit more hops, a little bit more of a liquory taste because of that rum, but it's still really good. Those are the kind of things I really like. Next up, from Lehupka Bazinowski. I don't know, something like that. Hey Snoop, do you believe in God or are you not religious at all? This is an excellent question, because this is something I will never talk about after this, because I firmly believe there's actually 3 things in life you cannot talk about with strangers because it never goes over well. Sports, religion, and politics. But I'm going to break one of my own rules and discuss it. I do not believe in God at all. This is how I live my life. I definitely have missteps along the way. I'm not a perfect person by any means. But I strive to be as good of a person as I can, and I live my life to be the best person I possibly can, to be good to everyone immediately up front, give them the benefit of the doubt first, and treat them with respect and kindness, until they do something where they no longer deserve that respect and kindness. And I choose, me personally, I choose to be a good person to other people because that's just the kind of person I am and the kind of person I want to be. I want to be a nice guy to people. I want to help out anyone that I possibly can if they ever need it. And I always want to leave a positive impact on people. I never want to be viewed or talked about in a negative manner. And that's just how I live my life. I don't want to... never mind. I'm not going to go into it any further than that. But the gist of it is no and no. Sorry, it's kind of lackluster, but I don't want to say anything and offend anyone because that's not my goal by any means. I don't want to offend anyone. Everyone has their own beliefs, and that's fine. Everyone has to have something to believe in. Or some people don't. It's just whatever. But some people have to have something to believe in to help them get through the day or the week or their year or life in general, and I'm not going to knock that. Just me personally, no, it's not for me. I live by a different set of standards, if you will. Next up, from I'm Nietzsche. Oh, I probably butchered that, but I'm sorry. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the flashlight in Battlefield 4? I would rate it a scale of 12 on the, oh my god, stop raping my eyes with that fucking laser beam. That's how fucking bright that flashlight is. Okay. Last but not least, from Shankman IL. How long is your dick? This is actually a funny story, because, the guys that are listening, they'll understand where I'm coming from when I say, in public restrooms when you got the 2 urinals, and they usually got, the normal height one and then the much lower one for little kids. When I was about 12 or 13, I had to start using the little kids one because every time I went to go take a piss, I just got tired of bottoming out in the other one. So I went to the little kids one, and I don't bottom out anymore. So there's the answer to your question. Alright, guys, it's gonna wrap it up for the first episode. If you couldn't tell, I tried to bounce around between semi-serious, serious, and just pure joking. So, like I said in the first video, throw them all at me. There's some that I just kind of had to really scratch my head like, what the fuck kind of question is that? But the rest of them I had fun with, and I got some really good reactions out of reading some of these. So, thanks so much for watching. Catch you later.